detectives. They have one. And guess what? There have been 10 or 15 or 20 people got shot before your brother or father did, and they have to take care of that first. So guess what? You're on the back burner, you're on the back log, and you're going to have to wait 5 or 6 months until that case clears so we can get to that. So guess what's going to happen in 5 or 6 months? You might lose somebody else. There are going to be more shooting and killings and stuff like that. But you brought it on yourself by defunding the police, so live with it. And just last summer, when Donald Trump told you all that he wanted to bring in the National Guard to Chicago to curtail that foolishness that is going on there, he was called a dictator, too strong-armed. No, we can't do that. That stupid mayor that got there, Lori Lightfoot, opened her big fat mouth and said, no, we can handle it ourselves. How's that working, Lori Lightfoot? How's that working, chief of police in Chicago? Although he's kind of a good guy, he's kind of now on the side of like knowing and understanding that he's not getting any help. They're arresting a lot of these thugs, and they're not staying in the judicial system because there's so much pressure from having black kids in the system because it's racist. Instead of making them pay for what they're doing in these carjackings, traumatizing people, that's what they're doing. Well, when Trump said it, he was, no, he can't do it. Now there's aldermen and all kind of council persons in Chicago crying for the National Guard to come in and help because their police officers are quitting as well. So what you going to do in the worst city of crime in the United States and perhaps the world? That's why they call it Chirac. That ain't just a nickname. That's an appropriate name for a city that has gone to hell. Chicago. I am so glad I went to visit that city for the first time a year or so ago, and I don't have to go back, and I don't want to go back, and I ain't going back. You can believe me on that one. You have these carjackers in Chicago, in Houston, and Philadelphia. Those are the three cities that are really, really at the top of the list for carjackings. Now, Chicago, as you know, is up there for murders, because Chicago is a city of 3 million plus people. You know, there are cities like East St. Louis, Illinois, like St. Louis, Missouri, which have higher percentage of murders, but obviously those cities are not as large as Chicago. So you got these kids committing these crimes, and they are being arrested, and they're making deals within the prison system, within the court system. And you have people outside going like, oh, there's two systems, one for everybody else and one for black people. You are so wrong on that. Wake up, smell the coffee, do whatever you got to do, because there are so many young black people. This is why this crime keeps happening, because these are repeat offenders. They are getting slaps on the wrist because they don't have any type of jurisdiction to make them stick in the system, in the prison system. And so they're right back out on the street, traumatizing people. You have people who are carjacked, don't even want to go out anymore. They hate to stay in because, it's just too tough for them to overcome. And why these fools are going around joyriding, doing it for some type of a gang initiation or some type of a situation that's going to give them pats on the back. I watched this one documentary just a month or so ago where they were in competition with each other. Who get the best car? Who get the most cars as far as hijacking or carjacking? That's what's going on. All black kids. You never see I don't see white kids doing. White kids are not doing this. White kids are not holding guns to people's head at gas stations and shooting. These carjacking cities I just mentioned, they're happening everywhere. But Philadelphia, Houston, and Chicago, 3 cities full of black people. Full of them. What do you think is going to happen when you have a culture that is a subculture like rap, and you let your kids, and you think it's okay, and you even as an older person listen to rap? You ought to be denouncing that foolishness the first time you ever heard it outside of the Rapper's Delight by Sugar Hill Gang. Everything else you should be denouncing. It has turned the black community into a freaking hellhole in most inner cities in this country. So like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not afraid to call a spade, okay? I'm not racist. I don't care to be racist. And even if I was racist, I could care less. I am telling you the facts. I am telling you what I know. I am telling you what I see. And these crimes that are being committed, nearly 60%, 55%, and it's probably more of violent crime. That was just the figure before the pandemic. Now, with all this crazy stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if it's near 65, 70% of the violent crimes in this country are committed by young black men. Young black men, and many of them young black boys. You know, a lot of 40-year-olds, black men, or 45-year-olds, they're not committing crime. When I was coming up, you know, that was like being young. You know, you 40, you 45, you rob a bank, you know, you may stick up a liquor store. These kids are doing it now at 11, 12 years old, 13. You're an OG when you're 30. You ain't doing that. They're getting caught, but they're not doing any time. Or if they do time, it's a couple of months and they're right back at it. So I don't want to hear that there's a different system for black people than there's a system different for every other person. If you feel that way, then stop doing the crime. Why in the hell would you test the system if you think it's against you or if it's marginal to you to give you more time? That's stupid in itself. You're going to say that, oh, this is a system that's against me because I'm black, but let me go out and do a crime anyway just to test it. I just want to test it just to see. That's stupid. It isn't like that. Stop doing it and you won't have to worry about it. I don't get it. Like I said, there are just so many places that this is getting so bad now. You know, you can't go anywhere. Like I said, you can't go anywhere. A group, a festival, you know, even a park, you know, somewhere where there's music. You know, I know there's some, you know, summer events where people go to a park. You can't even do that. Washington, D.C., terrible. Shooting in there a couple of weeks ago. They were at some festival. I think it was celebrating Juneteenth. And how many Juneteenths, by the way, how many Juneteenth celebrations ended up in gunfire? Let's go back to Oakland, California. Not only did they have a July 4th gun show, they actually had a Juneteenth gun show. Washington, D.C. had a Juneteenth gun show. Every city has a Juneteenth gun show. So it's been put into law that Juneteenth will now become a federal holiday. And how do you celebrate that? How do you celebrate that? All you people who are complaining about the system and all that, you celebrate that by shooting people. Now, once again, I know it is not the majority, but that does not matter. It doesn't matter if it's not the majority. It's only 2 or 3% of people that are ruining it for other people. But that still makes it bad. And it makes you not want to go anywhere. And it makes you think like, what is going to happen? Is something going to happen? That's the life that young black people live in. And it's all because of that hip hop culture. That is what's going on. You can't talk right. You can't speak right. You don't know how to dress. You don't know how to hold a sentence. You don't know how to complete a sentence. You don't know how to hold a conversation correctly. And then when you get out in the real world, you're lost. And because you can't communicate and because they can't understand you, they're the ones who's racist. You idiots. That is the reason this is like it is now. They have no direction of life or what they're going to do. So they're just at each other's throat, killing each other over territory that's not even theirs. My turf. You wearing a different color. And guess what? Innocent, law-abiding citizens are getting caught in the crossfire. They're getting caught in the crossfire, getting shot at gas stations. That's going on in Atlanta too. Atlanta's is full of carjackings too. Oh, I forgot to mention. There are people going to the gas station. Sometimes they have to go to the gas station at night. They're going to the gas station pumping gas with a gun out. I'm talking about the good guys, because they're anticipating somebody coming to carjack them, like that's happened, which has happened so many times in Atlanta in the last year and a half. So people are literally brandishing weapons as they pump their gas, as to say, come on, let's see, I got this. All these cities, and you have black people in this country still talking about white supremacy. How many people, let me ask you this question. How many people out there, how many black Americans out there have lost friends, sons, daughters, relatives of any kind, distant friends, acquaintances? How many of you out there have lost black people that you know of or are related to gun violence, any kind of violence, stabbings, whatever, and they were killed by somebody other than a black person? I'll wait. It's very, very low, if any. I know of 15 at the top of my head. I know of 15 people I went to school with, either high school, junior high, or college, who have sons who were shot and killed all by other black people. My point is this, ladies and gentlemen, you are fighting the wrong monster. The monster is not white supremacy. The monster is not white nationalists. The monster is not the Ku Klux Klan. When's the last time you seen the Ku Klux Klan? Oh, I know what you're gonna say. Oh, they don't have to walk around in white sheets anymore. This liberal media, ladies and gentlemen, has you believing, has you looking around like the Klan is still alive and there is some type of supremacy model to go against you and to keep you stupid, to keep you down, and have you believe in that. How do you believe that? You have successful black people doing the doggone thing, and they still believe it. They still have them brainwashed and scared, going like, you're still black. What does that mean? What the hell does you're still black? What does that mean? Someone told me that. Oh, the way you think is the way you think. I don't know how you got that, but remember, when it all comes down to it, you're still black. Yeah, man, white people are still white. And a spade is still a spade, and a cat is still a cat, and a dog is still a dog. What does that got to do with anything? Yes, I'm still black. What is that supposed to mean? At any time I can be, taken out? Oh, that's right. You can be taken out at any time by one of your own people, because it happens all the time. So you can leave that, you're still black when at the end of the day. You can keep that in your pocketbook or your wallet, because that means nothing to me. That means nothing to me. When I move out of town or I move away from the hood, I'm not moving to the hood, okay? I move away from the hood. I ain't never heard of going somewhere and go, oh, there's some white people in there. You better be careful in that neighborhood. But you try to go to Watts, or you try to go to 3rd Ward in Houston or 5th Ward in New Orleans, and guess what? Who are you running into, or who are you running from? So once again, I see this every day, and if I rub somebody the wrong way, I am sorry. I am sorry. I am here to tell you that if you live around a high concentrated amount of black people, especially young black people, you are living in a war zone. And it's all over the United States of America. So on that note, I am going to end this episode of the Fabulous Form Factor. Please get back to me. Let me know. Am I way off on this? I have facts, ladies and gentlemen. That's my motto of this show. It's the fact.